Chapter 1. The Final Stream. Jack Harper stood atop the edge of a towering skyscraper. The city of New York sprawled out beneath him like a glittering sea. The sky was a deep indigo, speckled with stars that were barely visible against the glow of the city lights. The crisp night air buzzed with energy, matching the excitement coursing through his veins. Jack's fans were watching from all over the world, glued to their screens, hearts pounding in anticipation of what he would do next. "All right, folks," Jack said, his voice amplified by the microphone clipped to his helmet. "This is the big one. The ultimate challenge. You won't want to miss this." Jack adjusted his GoPro, ensuring it was capturing the perfect angle of the breathtaking view. The comments and emojis flooded the live chat on his streaming platform, TikTok. Messages of support, encouragement, and awe filled the screen, interspersed with the occasional skeptic doubting his ability to pull off the stunt. "He's crazy. Go, Jack, go. No way he can make that jump. Be careful, dude." Jack grinned, his trademark smirk that had won over millions of fans. His eyes sparkled with mischief and a hint of madness. He was dressed in his usual adventure gear, a snug black jumpsuit, gloves for grip, and a pair of sturdy boots. His harness was securely fastened, and his backpack was packed with essentials, though he didn't plan on using any of them tonight. "All right, first up, something to warm up," Jack announced. A little appetizer before the main course. He walked along the narrow ledge of the skyscraper, his footsteps steady despite the dizzying height. Below, the traffic moved like tiny streams of light, oblivious to the daredevil above. Jack reached the edge where a large crane was anchored. Its arm extended out over the empty space between buildings, a daunting gap that would terrify most people. "Let's see if I still got it," Jack muttered to himself, though his mic picked it up, sending a ripple of excitement through his audience. He took a few steps back, breathing deeply to calm his racing heart. The wind whipped around him, a cold reminder of the precariousness of his position. Then, with a burst of speed, he sprinted forward and leapt into the air. For a moment, time seemed to slow. Jack's body was a silhouette against the night sky, soaring through the void. The tips of his fingers brushed the cold metal of the crane's arm, and he gripped tightly, using his momentum to swing himself up. He landed in a crouch, his breath coming in short, exhilarated gasps. The chat exploded with praise and admiration. "Holy shit, that was insane. He's like Spider-Man. How does he do it?" Jack took a moment to catch his breath, savoring the rush of adrenaline. The crane swayed slightly under his weight, adding an extra thrill to his accomplishment. He stood up slowly, balancing effortlessly on the narrow beam. From here, he had an even better view of the city, the lights twinkling like 1,000 tiny stars. "Not bad, right?" Jack said, grinning at the camera. "But that was just a warm-up. The real challenge is next." He looked towards the adjacent building, a skyscraper even taller than the one he had just jumped from. Its rooftop was several feet higher and the gap between the two buildings was much wider. This was the ultimate test of his skills, the stunt that would either cement his legacy or end in disaster. Jack walked carefully back along the crane arm until he was back on the roof of the first building. He glanced at the live chat, seeing the mixture of awe and concern. His fans knew him well enough to understand that he thrived on pushing the limits, but this challenge seemed to push them into a realm of discomfort. "Are you guys ready for this?" Jack asked, his voice steady but filled with excitement. "This is it, the ultimate jump. I've been training for this for months. Wish me luck." He took his time preparing, double-checking his equipment and psyching himself up for the jump. He measured the distance with his eyes, calculating the angle and force needed to make it across. The rooftop of the opposite building seemed to taunt him, daring him to try. Jack took a deep breath, his muscles coiling like a spring. He visualized the jump in his mind, seeing himself land safely on the other side. The wind picked up, tugging at his clothes and adding an extra element of difficulty. He knew he had to account for every variable. "Here we go," he whispered, more to himself than to his audience. He sprinted forward, his footsteps echoing against the rooftop. The edge approached rapidly, and with a final push, he launched himself into the air. For a split second, he felt weightless, suspended between the two buildings. The ground below seemed impossibly far away, a dark chasm that yawned hungrily. But something went wrong. A gust of wind hit him from the side, throwing off his balance. His body twisted in midair, and he reached out desperately, fingers grasping at nothing. Panic surged through him as he realized he was not going to make it. "No, no, no," he screamed, the words torn from his lips by the wind. The rooftop loomed ahead, tantalizingly close but just out of reach. Jack's outstretched fingers brushed the edge of the building, but he couldn't get a grip. He felt himself falling, his stomach dropping as the realization hit him. This was it, the end. The camera on his helmet captured every second of the fall. The viewers saw the city lights blurring into streaks of color, the ground rushing up to meet him with terrifying speed. Their comments turned to horrified gasps and pleas for him to somehow save himself. "Jack, no, somebody help him. Call 911. The impact was brutal. Jack hit the pavement with a sickening thud, his body crumpling under the force. The world went black, and the last thing he heard was the shocked silence of his viewers. Then, nothing. When Jack opened his eyes again, he was lying on a cold, mist-covered street. The skyscrapers and city lights were gone, replaced by towering, ghostly buildings that seemed to shimmer in the dim light. The air was filled with an eerie hum, and time felt strangely distorted. Jack's body felt different, lighter, almost insubstantial. He sat up, bewildered, and looked around. This was not the city he knew. This was something else entirely. He reached for his phone, half expecting it to be shattered, but it was intact and still streaming. His fans were still watching, their comments now filled with confusion and concern. "Where am I?" Jack muttered, his voice echoing strangely in the empty street. He stumbled to his feet, his mind struggling to comprehend the reality of his situation. He had fallen to his death, but instead of oblivion, he had awakened in a strange new world, the underworld, where souls awaited their fate. As the realization sank in, Jack knew his adventure was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. Chapter 2. Welcome to Soul City. Jack Harper groggily opened his eyes, feeling an unnatural chill seep through his body. As he blinked and tried to clear his vision, he realized he was no longer lying on cold pavement but on an equally cold, mist-covered street. The world around him was unlike anything he had ever seen. The streets were shrouded in a thick, ethereal mist, and the buildings were towering structures made of ghostly, translucent material. Everything glowed with a faint, otherworldly light, and the air was filled with an eerie hum. "Where am I?" Jack whispered, his breath visible in the cold air. He got to his feet, his body feeling strangely light and insubstantial. He looked down at himself and saw that his adventure gear was still intact, but something felt off. His movements were fluid, almost like he was floating rather than walking. Jack's heart raced as he took in his surroundings. The city was eerily quiet, with no signs of life. He spotted other figures moving through the mist, but they were faint, almost transparent, like ghosts. Panic began to set in, but then he remembered his phone. He reached into his pocket, half expecting it to be gone or broken. To his surprise, it was still there and functioning. With trembling hands, he opened the TikTok app. The screen flickered to life, and he saw that his stream was still active. The chat was a flurry of messages from his fans, all expressing confusion and concern. "Jack, are you okay? Where are you? Is this part of the stunt?" Jack took a deep breath and addressed his viewers. "Hey, everyone, I'm not sure what just happened, but I think I died." His voice echoed strangely in the misty air. "And now I'm in some kind of afterlife city. This place is unbelievable." He adjusted the camera to give his viewers a better look at his surroundings. The mist swirled around him, obscuring the view but adding to the eerie atmosphere. The buildings seemed to stretch infinitely upwards, their tops lost in the fog. Strange, spectral lights floated above, casting an ethereal glow over everything. Determined to figure out what was going on, Jack began to explore. He walked down the mist-covered streets, taking in the bizarre and beautiful architecture. The buildings seemed to shift and change as he moved, their forms never quite solid. He passed other souls, some wandering aimlessly, others engaged in ghostly activities. They barely seemed to notice him. "This place is incredible," Jack said to his viewers, trying to keep his tone upbeat despite the fear gnawing at him. "It's like nothing I've ever seen before. It's like a dream, or a nightmare." The chat continued to buzz with messages. Some fans were fascinated by the strange new world Jack had found himself in, while others were still in shock from witnessing his fall. Jack did his best to reassure them, even though he was struggling to make sense of it all himself. As he wandered through the streets, Jack's eye caught a glimpse of a tall building in the distance. It towered above the other structures, its peak barely visible through the thick mist. Intrigued, he decided to head towards it. Maybe it held some answers. The journey to the tall building was surreal. The streets seemed to twist and turn in impossible ways, and Jack occasionally found himself doubling back or ending up in places he didn't recognize. The other souls he passed seemed equally lost, their faces etched with confusion and despair. "Alright, folks, let's see what's inside this big guy," Jack said, trying to inject some of his usual enthusiasm into his voice. "Maybe we can find someone who knows what's going on." As he approached the building, he noticed that it was different from the others. While most of the structures in Soul City were ghostly and insubstantial, this one had a solidity to it. It was made of dark, polished stone that seemed to absorb the light around it. A large, ornate door stood at the base, flanked by two stone statues of grim-looking figures. Jack hesitated for a moment before pushing the door open. It swung open silently, revealing a grand, dimly lit foyer. The air inside was colder than outside, and the eerie hum seemed to grow louder. Jack stepped inside, his footsteps echoing in the vast space. The interior of the building was just as strange and beautiful as the exterior. The walls were lined with shelves filled with ancient-looking books and scrolls. Strange artifacts and statues were displayed on pedestals, and the floor was covered in intricate mosaics that seemed to shift and change as Jack walked over them. "Welcome to the Hall of Records," a deep voice said, echoing through the foyer. Jack spun around, his heart pounding. A figure emerged from the shadows, a tall, robed man with a stern face and piercing eyes. He radiated an aura of authority, and Jack instinctively knew that this was someone important. Hi, Jack said, trying to keep his voice steady. I'm Jack Harper. I guess I'm dead. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on. The robed man regarded Jack with a mixture of curiosity and amusement. Indeed, you are quite dead, he said. And you have found yourself in Soul City, the realm where souls await judgment and reincarnation. Jack felt a mixture of relief and anxiety. At least he had some answers now, but the implications were still daunting. So, what happens now? He asked. The man gestured for Jack to follow him. Come with me, Jack Harper. There is much you need to learn. They walked through the grand halls of the building, passing more shelves of books and strange artifacts. Jack's mind raced with questions, but he held them back, waiting for the right moment. Finally, they reached a large chamber filled with scrolls and glowing crystals. The man led Jack to a table and gestured for him to sit. This is the Hall of Records, the man explained. Here, we keep the records of every soul that passes through Soul City. Your presence here is an anomaly, as you were not meant to die today. Jack's heart sank. So, what does that mean? Can I go back? The man shook his head. Unfortunately, no. Your body in the living world is beyond repair. However, because your death was not planned, you cannot move on to reincarnation. You must remain in Soul City until your true time comes. Jack took a deep breath, trying to process this information. He was stuck in limbo, unable to return to his life or move on. But he still had his phone, and his connection to the living world through his streams. Maybe there was a way to make the best of this situation. So, what am I supposed to do here? Jack asked. The man smiled faintly. That is for you to discover. Soul City is vast and filled with mysteries. Perhaps, in time, you will find your purpose here. With that, the man turned and walked away, leaving Jack alone in the chamber. Jack looked down at his phone, seeing the stream still active and his viewers still watching, their comments filled with concern and curiosity. Well, folks, Jack said, forcing a smile. Looks like I'm going to be here for a while. But you know me. I'm not one to sit around and mope. Let's explore this place and see what we can find. He stood up and started walking towards the exit, his camera capturing every detail of the strange, beautiful city. As he stepped back out into the misty streets, he felt a renewed sense of determination. He might be dead, but his adventure was far from over. Chapter 3. First Impressions. Jack Harper stepped out of the Hall of Records, his breath visible in the chilly, mist-laden air. Soul City stretched out before him, a labyrinth of ghostly buildings and winding streets. Determined to understand his new surroundings, Jack began to explore the eerie streets, his phone still streaming to his curious and concerned fans. The buildings, with their translucent, ever-shifting forms, seemed to pulse with an inner light. The streets were cobblestone, worn smooth by countless ghostly footsteps. Strange symbols and runes glowed faintly on the walls, casting an otherworldly glow. Jack walked cautiously, narrating his journey to his viewers. Check this out, Jack said, pointing his camera at a nearby structure. This building looks like it's made of glass, but it feels solid. The architecture here is unlike anything I've seen. It's like the whole city is alive. The chat exploded with comments. Wow, this is insane. Are you sure you're not dreaming? That place looks creepy and amazing. Jack continued to explore, fascinated by the blend of ancient and otherworldly. He came across a market square where spectral vendors sold strange, intangible wares. The air was filled with a low hum of conversations in languages he didn't recognize. Despite the otherworldly setting, there was a sense of normalcy, as if the souls were carrying on with their lives, or afterlives, as best they could. He paused at a fountain in the center of the square. The water was a silvery, luminescent liquid that cast rippling light on the surrounding buildings. Jack dipped his hand in, feeling a cool, soothing sensation. This place is so weird but so cool, Jack said, marveling at the fountain. It's like a dream you can't wake up from. As Jack ventured deeper into the city, he noticed the inhabitants. The souls of the deceased moved through the mist, some with purpose, others aimlessly drifting. They ranged from recently deceased individuals who still bore a semblance of their earthly appearance to older, more ethereal entities who seemed to be part of the city itself. Hey, buddy, Jack called out to one of the wandering souls, but the figure passed by without acknowledging him. Jack frowned, turning back to his phone. It's like they don't even see me. Maybe they're lost in their own world. Jack's curiosity drove him to approach a tall, spectral figure dressed in flowing robes. The figure seemed more solid than the others, with a serene expression and an aura of wisdom. Jack hoped this soul could provide some answers. Excuse me, Jack said, stepping into the figure's path. Can you tell me where I am? What is this place? The figure turned its gaze to Jack, eyes glowing faintly. You are in Soul City, the realm where souls await their fate. Some find peace here, others continue their journey. What is it that you seek, young one? Jack hesitated, unsure of how to articulate his confusion. I don't really know. I just got here. I think I died, but I'm not supposed to be here. I'm trying to understand what this place is and what I'm supposed to do. The figure nodded slowly. Many souls arrive here with questions. The answers you seek may not be easy to find, but they are here, if you are willing to look. Explore, learn, and perhaps you will find your purpose. With that, the figure drifted away, leaving Jack with more questions than answers. He continued to walk, his mind racing with possibilities. The city was a maze of wonders and dangers, and he was determined to uncover its secrets. Alright, folks, Jack said to his camera. Looks like we're going to have to do some serious exploring. Let's see what we can find. As Jack moved through the city, he noticed that each district had its own unique character. Some areas were bustling with activity, filled with souls engaging in various tasks and rituals. Others were quiet and deserted, shrouded in an eerie silence that sent shivers down his spine. He found himself drawn to a narrow alleyway that seemed to pulse with energy. The walls were covered in intricate runes that glowed softly, casting a dim light on the cobblestones. Jack's footsteps echoed in the confined space, the sound amplified by the stillness around him. This place gives me the creeps, Jack muttered, though he couldn't deny the allure of the alley. Let's see what's at the end. The alley opened into a small courtyard, dominated by a large, ancient tree. Its branches were bare, but they seemed to shimmer with a ghostly light. Beneath the tree, a group of souls sat in a circle, their eyes closed in meditation. Jack approached cautiously, not wanting to disturb them. One of the souls, a young woman with long, flowing hair, opened her eyes and looked directly at Jack. "You're new here," she said softly. "Come, join us." Jack hesitated, then nodded and sat down on the edge of the circle. "What are you doing?" "We are meditating," the woman explained. "Connecting with the energy of Soul City, seeking guidance and clarity. This tree is a conduit for the city's power. It helps us find peace and understanding." Jack closed his eyes, trying to calm his racing thoughts. He felt a strange warmth emanating from the tree, a soothing presence that seemed to wrap around him. As he focused on his breathing, he felt a sense of connection to the city and its inhabitants, as if he was tapping into a deeper understanding of his surroundings. After a while, Jack opened his eyes and looked at the woman. "I feel different, more in tune with this place. Thank you." The woman smiled. "Soul City has a way of revealing itself to those who seek. Keep exploring, and you will find your path." Jack stood up, feeling more centered and determined than before. He continued his journey through the city, his eyes open to the subtleties and nuances of his surroundings. He noticed the way the buildings seemed to breathe, the way the streets shifted and changed as if they were alive. As he walked, Jack encountered more souls, each with their own stories and experiences. Some were willing to share their wisdom, while others were lost in their own worlds, unable to see or hear him. Jack documented everything for his viewers, providing a glimpse into the afterlife that was both fascinating and haunting. "This place is a lot to take in," Jack said to his camera. "But I feel like I'm starting to understand it a bit more. There's so much history here, so many layers. It's like a living, breathing entity." He paused at a bridge that spanned a river of shimmering light. The water below flowed gently, its surface reflecting the ghostly glow of the city. Jack leaned on the railing, lost in thought. "I wonder what my purpose here is," he mused. "There's got to be a reason why I ended up in this place. Maybe I'm supposed to help others, or maybe there's something I need to learn. Whatever it is, I'm going to find out." As Jack continued to explore, he felt a growing sense of determination. He knew his journey in Soul City was just beginning, and he was ready to face whatever challenges and mysteries lay ahead. With his viewers by his side, he felt a sense of camaraderie and purpose that gave him strength. "Alright, folks," Jack said, turning back to his camera. "We've got a lot more to discover. Stick with me, and let's see where this adventure takes us." Jack Harper continued his exploration of Soul City, the eerie yet fascinating realm of the afterlife. The further he ventured, the more he realized just how vast and varied this city of souls truly was. Each district seemed to have its own character and purpose, from bustling marketplaces to quiet, desolate alleys. And everywhere he went, he encountered the strange and enigmatic inhabitants of this ghostly metropolis. As he walked down a broad avenue lined with ghostly lanterns, Jack noticed a group of souls gathered around a small bonfire. The flames were an ethereal blue, casting an eerie light on their faces. Curiosity piqued, Jack approached the group, his phone still streaming the encounter to his captivated audience. "Hey there," Jack said, trying to sound casual. "Mind if I join you?" The souls looked up at him, their expressions a mix of surprise and curiosity. One of them, an elderly woman with a kind but weary face, gestured for him to sit down. "You're new here," she said, her voice soft but clear. "Welcome to our circle." Jack sat down, feeling the warmth of the blue flames despite their otherworldly appearance. "Thanks, I'm Jack. I'm trying to figure out what this place is and what I'm supposed to do here." The elderly woman nodded. "We all come here with questions. This city holds many secrets, and each of us must find our own path. My name is Elda. I've been here longer than I can remember, but I still learn new things every day." The group around the fire consisted of souls from various backgrounds and eras. There was a young man in modern clothing, a middle-aged woman in a Victorian dress, and an ancient-looking man who might have been from a time long before recorded history. They all seemed to have found a sense of community around the fire. "What brings you to our circle, Jack?" Elda asked, her eyes twinkling with curiosity. Jack hesitated, unsure of how much to reveal. "I was exploring, trying to understand this place. I guess I'm looking for answers, just like everyone else." The young man in modern clothing leaned forward, his eyes filled with a restless energy. You're not alone. We all have our reasons for being here. Some of us are looking for closure, others for redemption. What about you, Jack? What do you hope to find? Jack thought about the question. He had come to Soul City by accident, a twist of fate that had left him stranded in this strange world. But now that he was here, he felt a growing sense of purpose. I don't know yet, he admitted, but I feel like there's something I'm meant to do. Maybe I can help others, or maybe there's something I need to learn. I guess I'll figure it out as I go. Elda smiled gently. That's a good start. Soul City is full of opportunities for those who are willing to look. And you seem like someone who doesn't give up easily. As they sat around the fire, Jack listened to the stories of the other souls. Each one had a unique tale of how they had arrived in Soul City and what they hoped to achieve. Some were seeking forgiveness for past wrongs, while others were trying to find loved ones they had lost. The diversity of their experiences was both humbling and inspiring. The middle-aged woman in the Victorian dress, who introduced herself as Clara, shared her story. I died over a century ago, leaving behind my husband and children. I've been searching for them ever since, hoping to reunite with them here. I found traces, but the city is vast, and the journey is long. The ancient-looking man, who went by the name of Tharos, spoke next. I was a warrior in my time, a leader of my people. I came here seeking redemption for the lives I took in battle. I've spent countless years trying to atone for my actions, but peace still eludes me. Jack felt a deep empathy for these souls. Despite their differences in background and era, they were all connected by their shared quest for meaning and resolution. He realized that his journey in Soul City was not just about finding answers for himself, but also about helping others find their way. As the fire crackled and the blue flames danced, Jack felt a sense of camaraderie with the group. He shared his own story, from his life as a thrill-seeking streamer to his accidental death and arrival in Soul City. The other souls listened intently, their eyes reflecting the flickering light of the fire. You have a unique perspective, Jack, Elda said when he finished. Your connection to the living world through your streams could be a powerful tool. Perhaps you can use it to bridge the gap between our world and theirs, to help those who are still searching for answers. Jack considered her words, feeling a spark of inspiration. You're right, maybe I can use my platform to help others, both here and in the living world. There's so much potential for good if I can find the right way to use it. As the night wore on, the group around the fire began to disperse, each soul returning to their own journey. Jack felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. He thanked Elda and the others for their kindness and wisdom, promising to return and share any discoveries he made. With his phone still streaming, Jack continued his exploration of Soul City. The narrow streets and alleyways twisted and turned, leading him to new and unexpected places. He encountered more strange and fascinating inhabitants, each with their own stories and mysteries. In one particularly secluded part of the city, Jack came across a small, dimly lit tavern. The sign above the door read, "The Restless Spirit." Intrigued, he pushed the door open and stepped inside. The interior was cozy and inviting, with a warm fire crackling in the hearth and a handful of souls gathered around tables. Jack approached the bar, where a spectral bartender was polishing glasses. Welcome to the Restless Spirit, the bartender said with a nod. What can I get you? Jack smiled, feeling a sense of normalcy in the familiar setting. Just a drink, whatever you have. The bartender nodded and poured a shimmering, ethereal liquid into a glass. Here you go, first drink is on the house. Jack took a sip, the liquid cool and refreshing. He looked around the tavern, taking in the atmosphere. It was a place of refuge for weary souls, a spot where they could rest and share their stories. He struck up conversations with a few of the patrons, learning more about the city and its many secrets. One soul, a grizzled old sailor named Captain Briggs, regaled Jack with tales of his seafaring days and his adventures in Soul City. There's more to this place than meets the eye, Briggs said, leaning in conspiratorially. Hidden pathways, secret chambers, places where the veil between worlds is thin. If you know where to look, you can find them. Jack's curiosity was piqued. How do I find these places? Briggs chuckled. It's not about finding them, lad. It's about letting them find you. Keep your eyes and mind open, and the city will reveal its secrets. As the night deepened, Jack felt a growing connection to Soul City and its inhabitants. He realized that his journey here was just beginning, and there was so much more to discover. With his viewers by his side, he felt ready to face whatever challenges and mysteries lay ahead. Alright, folks, Jack said to his camera, we've got a lot more to explore. Let's see where this adventure takes us next. Jack Harper's streams from Soul City started as a curious experiment, but they quickly gained traction, capturing the fascination of audiences worldwide. His unique blend of adventure, exploration, and the mystique of the afterlife drew viewers in droves. As Jack roamed the ghostly streets, sharing stories of the souls he encountered and the mysteries he uncovered, his following grew exponentially. The initial shock of witnessing Jack's death live had morphed into a collective obsession with his new existence. Each stream was filled with eager fans, their comments and questions pouring in faster than Jack could read them. Is this real? Can you talk to my grandma? What's the scariest thing you've seen? Jack reveled in the attention, using his platform to explore the depths of Seoul City. He shared the bizarre and beautiful architecture, the spectral markets, and the eerie silence of the deserted districts. His followers were hooked, and the numbers kept climbing. One day, as Jack was streaming from a bustling ghost market, he noticed the viewer count skyrocketing. Within minutes, he had tens of thousands of live viewers, all captivated by his broadcast. Jack grinned at the camera, feeling a rush of excitement. "Welcome, everyone. If you're just joining us, we're in the heart of Seoul City's market. Check this out." He panned the camera to show a vendor selling glowing fruits and another offering translucent fabrics that shimmered in the spectral light. The comments flooded in, filled with amazement and curiosity. "Are those real? How do you eat ghost fruit? This place is incredible." The market was a cacophony of activity, with vendors shouting in languages both familiar and unknown. Souls from all walks of life drifted through the stalls, inspecting goods and bartering with ghostly currency. Jack's camera captured the vibrant energy of the market, and he took the opportunity to interact with some of the vendors. He approached a stall selling an array of strange, luminous fruits. The vendor, a plump, jovial soul with a twinkle in his eye, greeted Jack warmly. "Welcome, traveler. Care to try a taste of the afterlife?" Jack picked up a glowing fruit, its surface pulsating with a soft, inviting light. "What is this?" he asked, turning the fruit in his hand. "That, my friend, is a Lumina apple," the vendor explained. "It's said to hold the memories of those who've eaten it." Jack raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Memories, huh? Alright, let's give it a shot." He took a bite, and immediately his senses were flooded with a cascade of images and emotions. He saw glimpses of the vendor's life, fleeting moments of joy, sorrow, and everything in between. The taste was unlike anything he had ever experienced, a blend of sweetness and nostalgia. "Wow," Jack said, his voice tinged with awe. "That's incredible." His viewers were equally fascinated, their comments reflecting their amazement and curiosity. "Can you bring some back to the living world? That looks amazing. What else can you try? Ask him where he gets those fruits." Jack thanked the vendor and continued to explore the market, his camera capturing every detail. He visited stalls selling all manner of ghostly goods, from shimmering fabrics to enchanted trinkets. The market was a treasure trove of wonders, each discovery more fascinating than the last. As Jack interacted with the vendors and other souls, his fans couldn't get enough. His streams became a blend of educational tours, thrilling adventures, and heartwarming moments as he helped lost souls find their way. The more he shared, the more invested his audience became. One particularly poignant moment came when Jack encountered a young girl, her translucent form shimmering with an ethereal light. She stood by a stall, looking lost and alone. Jack approached her gently, his heart going out to the little soul. "Hey there," he said softly. "What's your name?" The girl looked up at him, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and hope. "I'm Lily," she said in a small voice. "I'm trying to find my parents. Have you seen them?" Jack's heart ached for her. "I haven't, Lily, but I can help you look. We'll find them together, okay?" Lily nodded, her expression brightening. Jack took her hand, and they began to search the market, asking vendors and souls if they had seen Lily's parents. His viewers were deeply moved by the encounter, their comments filled with support and encouragement. "You're doing a great thing, Jack. Poor kid, I hope she finds her parents. Keep us updated, we're rooting for you." As they wandered through the market, Jack continued to stream, sharing Lily's story and enlisting the help of his viewers. The community rallied around them, offering suggestions and keeping an eye out for any sign of Lily's parents. After what felt like hours of searching, they finally received a lead from a kind vendor who had seen a couple looking for their daughter. Jack and Lily followed the vendor's directions to a quiet corner of the market, where they found a couple who matched the description. "Lily," the woman cried, her face lighting up with joy as she rushed to embrace her daughter. "Mommy, Daddy," Lily exclaimed, running into their arms. Jack watched the reunion with a lump in his throat, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. He captured the heartwarming moment on camera, sharing it with his viewers. "We did it, everyone," Jack said, his voice thick with emotion. "We found Lily's parents." The chat exploded with cheers and tears of joy, the viewers sharing in the happiness of the moment. "That's beautiful. Way to go, Jack. I'm crying over here." Jack stayed with the family for a while, learning about their story and how they had become separated in the afterlife. They expressed their heartfelt gratitude to Jack and his viewers for their help in reuniting them. "This is what it's all about," Jack said, turning to his camera. "Helping each other, making a difference. I couldn't have done it without all of you." With his popularity soaring, Jack's streams began to attract media attention. Articles were written about him, speculating on the nature of Seoul City and debating the authenticity of his experiences. Interviews with experts and skeptics alike filled the airwaves, but Jack's streams continued to captivate millions. Major news outlets picked up his story, dubbing him the ghost streamer. Jack's face was splashed across headlines, and his viewer count soared. Brands and sponsors reached out, eager to capitalize on his unique platform. Jack found himself at the center of a cultural phenomenon, his every stream eagerly anticipated by fans and critics alike. One evening, as Jack prepared for another broadcast, he reflected on his journey. From a thrill-seeking streamer to a reluctant resident of the afterlife, his life, or afterlife, had taken a turn he could never have imagined. He felt a deep sense of responsibility to his viewers and the souls he encountered. "Alright, everyone," Jack said, addressing his live audience. "Tonight, we're going to explore one of the oldest parts of Soul City. Who knows what we'll find? Let's go." He navigated through narrow, winding streets, the camera capturing the haunting beauty of the ancient buildings. As he walked, he shared stories of the souls who had lived and died there, weaving a rich tapestry of history and lore. The chat was alive with excitement, viewers hanging on his every word. Jack felt a surge of pride and purpose, knowing that he was not just entertaining people but also shedding light on the mysteries of the afterlife. His streams had become more than just a spectacle, they were a bridge between the living and the dead. As Jack delved deeper into the old district, he stumbled upon a forgotten shrine, its entrance covered in spectral vines. He paused, feeling a strange energy emanating from the place. The viewers sensed it too, their comments reflecting their anticipation. "Do you feel that? What's in there, Jack? Go inside." Jack took a deep breath and stepped into the shrine, the camera capturing the dim, flickering light within. The air was thick with history and power, and Jack knew he had found something significant. He turned to the camera, his eyes shining with excitement. "Stay with me, folks. We're about to uncover another piece of Soul City's secrets." As he explored the shrine, Jack felt a profound connection to the city and its inhabitants. His streams had become a lifeline, not just for him, but for the millions of viewers who followed his journey. With each broadcast, he brought a little more understanding to the mysteries of life and death, bridging the gap between two worlds. As Jack Harper ventured deeper into the old district of Soul City, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. The mist thickened, shrouding the ancient buildings in an eerie, almost impenetrable haze. The cobblestone streets twisted and turned, creating a labyrinth that seemed designed to confuse and disorient. Jack's pulse quickened with a mix of excitement and trepidation as he narrated his journey to his live audience. "Alright, everyone," Jack said, his voice echoing slightly in the narrow alleyways. "We're entering one of the oldest parts of Soul City. These buildings must be centuries old, maybe even older. Who knows what we'll find here?" The viewer count continued to climb, and the chat was alive with comments and questions. "Be careful, Jack. Do you think there are any haunted houses? This place looks straight out of a horror movie." Jack couldn't help but agree. The old district had a sinister beauty to it, with its dark, ivy-covered buildings and flickering lanterns casting long shadows on the streets. It felt like stepping back in time, into a place where the past lingered heavily. As he rounded a corner, Jack noticed a dilapidated mansion at the end of a narrow street. Its windows were dark and empty, and the door hung slightly ajar, as if inviting him in. Jack felt a chill run down his spine, but his curiosity overpowered his fear. "Check this out, guys," Jack said, panning the camera to capture the eerie mansion. "Looks like we've found something interesting. Let's take a closer look." He approached the mansion cautiously, every sense on high alert. The air felt colder here, and the silence was almost palpable. Jack pushed the door open, the hinges creaking loudly in the stillness. Inside, the mansion was a maze of decaying rooms and crumbling furniture. The walls were covered in faded, peeling wallpaper, and the floorboards creaked under his weight. As Jack explored the mansion, he felt an unsettling presence growing stronger. It was as if the very walls were watching him, waiting for the right moment to strike. The chat was filled with warnings and expressions of concern. "Something doesn't feel right. Jack, you should get out of there. Be careful, this place gives me the creeps." Ignoring the mounting dread, Jack pressed on. He entered a grand hall with a massive staircase leading to the upper floors. The air was thick with dust and decay, and a sense of foreboding hung heavily in the room. Jack took a step forward, and the temperature dropped sharply. His breath came out in visible puffs, and he shivered despite his protective gear. "Looks like this place hasn't seen visitors in a long time," Jack said, trying to keep his voice steady. "But I have a feeling there's something here we need to see." Suddenly, a low, menacing growl echoed through the hall. Jack froze, his heart pounding in his chest. The sound seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. He scanned the room with his camera, but there was nothing to be seen. Just as he was about to dismiss it as his imagination, a figure materialized at the top of the staircase. It was a woman, her form flickering and shifting like a mirage. Her eyes burned with an intense, unearthly light, and her face was twisted in a mask of rage. She wore a tattered dress that seemed to flow and ripple with a life of its own. The air around her crackled with dark energy, and Jack felt a wave of malevolence wash over him. "Who dares enter my domain?" the spirit hissed, her voice echoing with anger and pain. Jack took a step back, his instincts screaming at him to run. "I am sorry," he stammered, his voice trembling. "I didn't mean to intrude. I was just exploring." The spirit's eyes narrowed, and she began to descend the staircase, her movements graceful yet terrifying. "You have disturbed my rest, mortal. For that, you will pay with your soul." Jack's mind raced as he searched for an escape. He knew he couldn't outrun a ghost, but he had to try. Turning on his heel, he sprinted back the way he had come, the spirit's angry wails echoing behind him. He could feel her presence growing closer, the cold, dark energy nipping at his heels. He dashed through the maze of rooms, his footsteps echoing loudly in the silence. The mansion seemed to twist and shift around him, as if trying to trap him within its decaying walls. Jack's breath came in ragged gasps, and his heart pounded in his chest. He could hear the spirit's furious cries growing louder, and he knew he had to find a way out, fast. Desperation drove him forward, and he spotted a narrow staircase leading to the basement. Without hesitation, he plunged down the stairs, his feet barely touching the steps. The basement was a dark, damp maze of tunnels and storage rooms, and Jack prayed it would offer some means of escape. He could hear the spirit behind him, her enraged shrieks filling the air. "You cannot escape me, mortal. Your soul will be mine." Jack stumbled through the basement, his flashlight casting frantic beams of light on the damp walls. He could feel the spirit's presence growing stronger, the air around him becoming colder and more oppressive. Just when he thought he could run no further, he spotted a faint light at the end of a tunnel. With renewed hope, Jack sprinted towards the light. The tunnel opened into a small, hidden courtyard, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. In the center of the courtyard stood an ancient, weathered statue of a guardian angel, its wings outstretched in a protective embrace. Jack felt a surge of relief and hope. He dashed to the statue and pressed his back against it, turning to face the entrance of the tunnel. The spirit emerged from the darkness, her eyes blazing with fury. "You cannot hide from me," she snarled, advancing slowly. "Your soul belongs to me now." Jack raised his camera, his hand shaking. "I don't want any trouble," he said, his voice trembling. "I'm just trying to survive here." The spirit paused, her gaze flickering to the camera. For a moment, her expression softened, and a flicker of sorrow passed over her face. "Survival? There is no survival here, only torment and suffering. My soul was devoured by vengeance long ago, and now I hunger for others to share my pain." Jack's mind raced, searching for something to say, something to reach the spirit. "You don't have to do this," he pleaded. "There must be another way. I can help you find peace." The spirit's eyes narrowed, and she took another step forward. "Peace? There is no peace for me. Only darkness and despair." Jack took a deep breath, steeling himself. "Maybe I can help you find a way out. Maybe we can both find a way out of this place." The spirit hesitated, her gaze locked on Jack's. For a moment, it seemed as if she might listen, as if there was a shred of humanity left in her. But then her expression hardened, and she raised her hand, dark energy crackling around her. "You are a fool," she hissed. "There is no escape for you, just as there was no escape for me." As the spirit prepared to strike, Jack felt a surge of determination. He wasn't going to give up, not now, not ever. With a burst of adrenaline, he ducked to the side, narrowly avoiding the spirit's attack. He sprinted across the courtyard, his mind racing for a plan. He spotted a small, ancient door set into the wall of the courtyard. With a silent prayer, he dashed towards it and flung it open, diving inside just as the spirit's dark energy slammed into the ground where he had stood. The door led to a narrow passageway, dimly lit by flickering torches. Jack ran down the passage, his heart pounding in his chest. He could hear the spirit's furious cries behind him, but he forced himself to keep moving, determined to find a way out. The passageway twisted and turned, leading him deeper into the bowels of the old district. Just when he thought he couldn't run any further, he emerged into a vast, underground chamber. The walls were lined with ancient runes that glowed with a soft, soothing light, and in the center of the chamber stood a large, ornate mirror. Jack approached the mirror cautiously, feeling a strange sense of calm wash over him. The surface of the mirror shimmered with an otherworldly light, and as he gazed into it, he saw his own reflection staring back at him, along with the reflection of the spirit, still seething with rage. "You cannot escape me," the spirit hissed, her voice echoing in the chamber. "Your soul is mine." Jack took a deep breath, his mind racing for a solution. The mirror seemed to hold some kind of power, and he realized it might be his only chance. He turned to face the spirit, his heart pounding in his chest. "Maybe I can't escape," he said, his voice steady. "But maybe I can help you find peace." The spirit's eyes narrowed, and she raised her hand, dark energy crackling around her. But as she prepared to strike, Jack reached out and touched the surface of the mirror. The light from the runes flared brightly, and the chamber was filled with a blinding, radiant light. The spirit screamed, her form flickering and wavering. Jack felt a surge of energy coursing through him, and he focused all his will on the mirror, willing it to absorb the spirit's anger and pain. Slowly, the spirit's cries began to fade, and her form grew dimmer and more transparent. The light from the mirror grew brighter, enveloping both Jack and the spirit in its warm embrace. Jack could feel the spirit's anger and pain being drawn into the mirror, replaced by a sense of calm and peace. When the light finally faded, the chamber was silent. Jack stood before the mirror, breathing heavily, his heart pounding in his chest. The spirit was gone, her anger and pain absorbed by the mirror. Jack felt a deep sense of relief and exhaustion, knowing that he had narrowly escaped a terrible fate. He turned to the camera, his voice trembling with emotion. "We did it, everyone. We faced down a vengeful spirit and survived. Thank you for sticking with me. I couldn't have done it without your support." The chat exploded with cheers and expressions of relief and admiration. That was intense. You're a hero, Jack. Thank you for sharing this journey with us. Jack took a deep breath, feeling a sense of accomplishment and pride. He had faced one of the darkest parts of Soul City and emerged victorious. As he made his way back through the passageway and out of the old district, he knew that there were many more challenges and adventures ahead. But with his viewers by his side, he felt ready to face whatever came next. Jack Harper had settled into a rhythm in Soul City. His daily streams continued to capture the imagination of his viewers, who were eager to follow his every move and hear about his latest discoveries. After his harrowing encounter with the vengeful spirit, he decided to take it easy for a few days, exploring the quieter parts of the city and interacting with its more peaceful inhabitants. One sunny afternoon, Jack found himself walking through a serene park filled with spectral trees and luminescent flowers. The park was a welcome respite from the more eerie and oppressive parts of Soul City. Jack streamed the beautiful scenery to his audience, narrating his thoughts and sharing the calming atmosphere with his viewers. Check out this place, Jack said, his camera panning over the glowing flowers and gently swaying trees. It's like a little slice of paradise in the middle of Soul City. I could spend all day here. The chat was filled with comments from his fans, expressing their admiration for the park and their relief that Jack was taking some time to relax. That's beautiful, Jack. You deserve a break after that last adventure. Those flowers are amazing. Do they have a scent? Jack chuckled at the questions and leaned down to smell one of the luminescent blooms. No scent, but they sure are pretty. Thanks for all the support, guys. I really appreciate it. As he stood up, Jack's phone buzzed with a notification. It was another donation alert. He had received so many donations over the past few days that he had almost grown accustomed to the constant buzzing. This time, however, he paused to consider it more deeply. Thank you so much for the donation, Sarah. Jack said, smiling at the camera. I appreciate the support, as always. After the alert faded from his screen, Jack's curiosity got the better of him. He had been so focused on exploring Soul City and sharing his experiences that he hadn't given much thought to where the donations were actually going. In life, he had a bank account that tracked his earnings, but now, in the afterlife, he had no idea how the financial system worked. Determined to find out, Jack decided to investigate. Hey, everyone, he said to his viewers, I've been thinking. We get all these donations, but where do they go? I mean, we're in the afterlife. How does currency even work here? Let's find out. The chat buzzed with excitement and speculation as Jack set off to uncover the mystery of Hell's currency. He made his way through the city, asking various souls if they knew anything about how money worked in the afterlife. Most were just as clueless as he was, offering only vague guesses or shrugs. After a few hours of fruitless searching, Jack found himself near the center of Soul City. The buildings here were grand and imposing, a stark contrast to the more modest structures in the outlying districts. As he walked, he noticed a large, imposing building that stood out even among the grandeur. The structure was magnificent, with towering pillars and intricate carvings depicting scenes from both life and death. Above the entrance, a sign read, Bank of the Underworld. Looks like we found the right place, Jack said, addressing his viewers. Let's go see if we can get some answers. He pushed open the heavy doors and stepped inside. The interior of the bank was even more impressive than the exterior. The ceiling was high and vaulted, with chandeliers made of spectral crystals casting a soft, shimmering light over the room. Spectral tellers floated behind the counters, assisting souls with their financial needs. Jack approached one of the tellers, a middle-aged man with a kind face and a translucent, shimmering form. Excuse me, Jack said, I've been receiving donations from my streams, but I have no idea where the money goes. Can you help me understand how this works? The teller smiled warmly. Of course, you must be Jack Harper, the ghost streamer. We've heard quite a bit about you. Jack nodded, feeling a mix of pride and curiosity. That's me. So, where do all these donations go? The teller gestured for Jack to follow him to a private room, where they could speak more freely. Once inside, the teller began to explain. In the afterlife, physical currency doesn't exist as it does in the living world. Instead, donations and earnings from your streams are converted into a form of energy that we call Hell's money. Jack raised an eyebrow. Hell's money? How does that work? The teller continued. Hell's money is an ethereal currency that can be used to purchase goods and services here in Soul City. It's tied to the spiritual energy of the souls who donate, which means it holds real value. When you receive donations, they are automatically converted and deposited into an account under your name here at the bank. Jack was fascinated by the explanation. So, I have an account here with Hell's money? How do I access it? The teller handed Jack a small, glowing card. This is your account card. You can use it to check your balance, make purchases, and even transfer funds to other souls. Think of it as a credit card, but for the afterlife. Jack took the card, feeling a sense of wonder and excitement. Wow, this is incredible. How much do I have in my account? The teller tapped a few keys on a ghostly terminal and showed Jack the balance. The number was substantial, a testament to the generosity and support of his fans. Jack's eyes widened in amazement. This is more than I ever made in the living world, he said, half to himself. What can I do with all this? The teller smiled. Hell's money can be used for a variety of things. You can purchase supplies, upgrade your streaming equipment, or even invest in properties and businesses here in Seoul City. The possibilities are endless. Jack's mind raced with ideas. He realized that this newfound wealth could open up countless opportunities, not just for himself but for the souls he encountered. He could use his influence and resources to make a real difference in Seoul City. Thank you for explaining this to me, Jack said, shaking the teller's hand. I think this is going to change a lot of things for the better. The teller nodded. I have no doubt that you'll use this knowledge wisely. Good luck, Jack Harper. As Jack left the bank, he couldn't wait to share the news with his viewers. He held up the glowing card, his excitement palpable. Guys, this is amazing. We've got Hell's money, and we can use it to do so much good here in Seoul City. Thank you all for your support. I couldn't have done this without you. The chat exploded with congratulations and suggestions on how to use the newfound wealth. Jack felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. With Hell's money at his disposal, he was ready to take his streaming to the next level and continue uncovering the mysteries of Seoul City. Alright, everyone, Jack said, we've got a lot of work to do. Let's see what we can accomplish together. As he walked through the streets of Seoul City, Jack knew that this was just the beginning. With the support of his viewers and the resources of Hell's money, there was no limit to what he could achieve. The journey ahead was filled with possibilities, and Jack was ready to face them head-on. The first thing Jack decided to do was upgrade his streaming equipment. He visited a shop that specialized in high-tech, otherworldly gear. The shopkeeper, a friendly soul named Zara, showed him the latest in spectral cameras, enhanced microphones, and even devices that could capture and project the ethereal energy of Seoul City in stunning detail. This equipment is top of the line, Zara explained, handing Jack a sleek, glowing camera. With this, you'll be able to stream with perfect clarity, even in the darkest corners of the city. It also has built-in stabilization and a feature that lets you interact with the ethereal elements in real time. Jack marveled at the technology. This is incredible. I'll take it all. Using his Hell's money account card, Jack made the purchase and immediately felt the difference in his streams. The quality was impeccable, and his viewers were thrilled with the new and improved experience. Wow, Jack, the stream looks amazing. This new camera is awesome. We can see everything so clearly. Great investment, Jack. Can't wait to see more. With his upgraded equipment, Jack felt more prepared than ever to tackle the challenges and mysteries of Seoul City. He decided to use his newfound wealth to help the souls he encountered, providing them with the resources they needed to find peace or continue their journey. He visited a small community of souls who had been struggling to find their place in the city. Many were lost or confused, unsure of how to navigate the afterlife. Jack used his Hell's money to purchase supplies and set up a resource center, where souls could find guidance, support, and information about the city. The center quickly became a hub of activity, and Jack's efforts were met with gratitude and appreciation from the community. He felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that he was making a real difference in the lives of others. This is just the beginning, Jack said to his viewers. With your support, we can do so much more. Let's keep pushing forward and see how far we can go. With his newfound wealth from Hell's money, Jack Harper realized he could take his influence in Seoul City to the next level. His streams had become incredibly popular, and he had a substantial amount of ethereal currency at his disposal. Jack understood that this opportunity was not only to enhance his streaming experience but also to establish businesses that could benefit the community and further solidify his presence in the afterlife. Jack started by opening a cafe called Ethereal Eats in the heart of Seoul City. The cafe offered a unique blend of spectral cuisine that appealed to the diverse tastes of the city's inhabitants. The menu featured items like Lumina apple pie, spectral tea, and ghostly pastries that glowed with an otherworldly light. Jack hired souls who were skilled in cooking and hospitality, providing them with a sense of purpose and a place to work. Ethereal Eats was situated in a charming, ancient building with large, arched windows that let in the soft, ambient glow of Seoul City's ever-present twilight. The interior was cozy and inviting, with ethereal chandeliers casting a warm light over the polished wooden tables and plush, ghostly cushions. Jack had spared no expense in creating an atmosphere that would draw souls in and make them feel at home. Ethereal Eats is now open, Jack announced during one of his streams, showing off the cozy interior of the cafe. Come by for a bite if you're in Seoul City. We've got the best spectral treats around. The chat was abuzz with excitement. I wish I could taste that Lumina apple pie. The cafe looks amazing, Jack. Can't wait to visit when I get there. On the opening day, Jack watched as the first customers began to trickle in. There was a mix of curiosity and excitement on their faces as they explored the menu and settled into the comfortable seating. Jack moved around the cafe, greeting guests and making sure everything ran smoothly. He wanted to ensure that everyone felt welcome and that the service was impeccable. One of the first patrons was an elderly soul named Miriam. She had been wandering Seoul City for years, feeling lost and aimless. As she sipped on a cup of spectral tea and took a bite of Lumina apple pie, Jack noticed a look of contentment spread across her face. This place is wonderful, Miriam said, her eyes twinkling. It's been a long time since I felt so at peace. Jack smiled, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. I'm glad you like it. We want Ethereal Eats to be a place where everyone can find a little comfort and joy. The cafe quickly became a popular spot, attracting souls from all over the city. Jack's viewers loved seeing the lively atmosphere and the joy it brought to the community. The success of Ethereal Eats inspired Jack to venture into other businesses. Next, Jack opened a tech shop called Spectral Tech. This shop specialized in high-tech gear tailored for the afterlife, including advanced streaming equipment, spectral communication devices, and gadgets that enhanced the ethereal experience. Jack partnered with Zara, the shopkeeper who had sold him his upgraded streaming gear, to ensure that the products were top-notch and cutting-edge. Spectral Tech was located in a sleek, modern building with a glass facade that reflected the soft glow of the city. Inside, the shop was filled with displays of the latest technological marvels, each one designed to make life in the afterlife more connected and efficient. Jack and Zara worked together to create an environment that was both welcoming and futuristic, blending the old-world charm of Soul City with the latest advancements in spectral technology. Spectral Tech is your go-to place for all things tech in Soul City, Jack said during another stream, showcasing the shop's sleek interior and innovative products. Whether you're a streamer like me or just looking to stay connected, we've got you covered. The tech shop was an instant hit, drawing in customers who were eager to get their hands on the latest devices. Zara was a natural at demonstrating the products and explaining their features, and Jack often dropped by to offer personalized recommendations to his viewers who visited the shop. One day, a young soul named Ethan entered Spectral Tech, looking both excited and nervous. He had been following Jack's streams and was eager to start his own channel, hoping to share his unique perspective on Soul City. "Hey, Jack," Ethan said, approaching the counter where Jack was helping another customer. "I've been saving up my hell's money and I want to get the best gear for streaming. Can you help me out?" Jack grinned, remembering his own excitement when he first started streaming. "Absolutely, Ethan, let's get you set up with everything you need." Jack and Zara spent the next hour showing Ethan the various cameras, microphones, and other equipment available. They explained the features and benefits of each device, helping him make informed decisions. By the time Ethan left the shop, he was equipped with the best gear and brimming with confidence. "Thank you so much, Jack," Ethan said, shaking his hand. "I can't wait to start streaming." "Good luck, Ethan," Jack replied. "I'll be sure to tune in and give you a shout-out. You've got this." With Ethereal Eats and Spectral Tech thriving, Jack began to think about how he could further expand his influence and contribute to the well-being of Soul City. He realized that his businesses could do more than just provide goods and services, they could become centers of community and support. Jack decided to open a community center called Soul Haven. This center offered a variety of programs and resources for the souls of Soul City, including workshops on navigating the afterlife, support groups for those struggling with their transition, and recreational activities to promote socialization and well-being. Jack hired knowledgeable and compassionate souls to run the programs and ensure that the center was a welcoming and supportive environment. Soul Haven was located in a beautiful, historic building that had been lovingly restored. The large, open spaces were filled with comfortable seating, and the walls were adorned with artwork created by the souls of Soul City. The center quickly became a hub of activity, drawing in souls from all walks of life who were looking for guidance, support, and community. Soul Haven is here to help everyone in Soul City find their way, Jack announced in a heartfelt stream, giving a tour of the newly opened center. "Whether you need guidance, support, or just a place to meet new friends, we're here for you." The response from the community was overwhelmingly positive. Souls from all walks of life came to Soul Haven to seek support, learn new skills, and connect with others. Jack's viewers were moved by the impact the center was having and praised him for his efforts. "You're doing amazing work, Jack. Soul Haven is such a great idea. Thank you for helping so many people." As Jack's influence grew, so did his ability to make a difference. He began to use his platform to advocate for positive changes in Soul City, working with the city's leaders to address issues like housing, education, and healthcare for souls. His businesses became hubs of innovation and community engagement, driving forward initiatives that improved the quality of life for everyone in the afterlife. One of Jack's most ambitious projects was the creation of a mentorship program at Soul Haven. He paired experienced souls with those who were newly arrived, helping them navigate their new existence and find their purpose. The mentorship program fostered a sense of community and belonging, making the transition to the afterlife less daunting for many. "We all need a little help sometimes," Jack said during a stream highlighting the mentorship program. "This is about building a stronger, more connected Soul City." Jack's efforts did not go unnoticed. He was invited to speak at various events and forums, sharing his vision for a more supportive and vibrant community. His influence extended beyond Soul City, as his streams continued to draw viewers from the living world who were inspired by his work and his journey. The suspension. Jack Harper had just begun another thrilling stream, exploring the ancient, mysterious quarters of Soul City. His viewers, now numbering in the tens of thousands, were eager to see what new discoveries he would share. Jack's camera captured the eerie beauty of the old district, with its crumbling stone buildings and flickering spectral lights. As he narrated his exploration, sharing bits of history and lore, he felt a deep connection with his audience. "All right, everyone," Jack said, his voice echoing slightly in the narrow alleyways. "We're about to enter one of the oldest parts of Seoul City. These buildings must be centuries old, maybe even older. Who knows what we'll find here?" The chat buzzed with excitement. "This place looks amazing. Can you show us inside one of those buildings? Be careful, Jack. This place looks haunted." Jack grinned at the comments, enjoying the thrill of discovery and the companionship of his viewers. He pushed open the creaking door of an ancient building, stepping into the dimly lit interior. The room was filled with dust and cobwebs, but there was an undeniable sense of history in the air. As Jack described the room's features and speculated about its past, his phone suddenly buzzed with a notification. He glanced down, expecting another donation alert, but his smile quickly faded when he saw the message. "Your TikTok account has been suspended for violating community guidelines." Jack stared at the screen in disbelief. His primary connection to his audience and the source of his influence had just been cut off. He quickly ended the stream and navigated to his account settings, searching for more information. The official message from TikTok cited violations related to spreading misinformation and promoting unverified supernatural phenomena. "This has to be a mistake," Jack muttered, his mind racing. "I've been nothing but honest about my experiences." Realizing the gravity of the situation, Jack decided to inform his viewers. He quickly set up a temporary stream on another platform, hoping to reach as many of his followers as possible. "Hey, everyone," Jack said, his voice tense but controlled. "I just got some bad news. My TikTok account has been suspended for supposedly violating community guidelines. I know this is a shock, but I need your help." The chat filled with messages of support and concern. "We're with you, Jack. This is so unfair. What can we do to help?" Jack took a deep breath, feeling a surge of gratitude for his loyal fans. "Thank you for your support. Right now, I need you to help me find any contact information for TikTok support. If we can get in touch with them, maybe we can resolve this quickly." Within minutes, his fans flooded the chat with suggestions and links to various support lines and email addresses. Jack tried several options, but each time he was met with automated responses or vague promises of a follow-up. Finally, he found a phone number that seemed promising. "Please wait 3 working days for a reply," the automated voice on the other end said. Jack felt a wave of frustration. 3 days without his main platform would be a significant blow to his momentum and connection with his audience. He knew he couldn't afford to wait that long, but he also knew he had no choice but to follow the protocol. "All right, everyone," Jack said, addressing his viewers. "I've contacted TikTok support, but they said it will take 3 days for a response. In the meantime, I'll keep you updated through this temporary stream and social media. Thank you for sticking with me. We'll get through this together." As the hours passed, Jack tried to keep his spirits up. He continued to engage with his viewers, sharing updates and answering questions, but the uncertainty weighed heavily on him. The chat was filled with messages of encouragement, but Jack couldn't shake the feeling of helplessness. Then, just as he was beginning to lose hope, a message appeared in the chat that caught his eye. "Hey Jack, I might be able to help. My name is Daniel, and I'm the CFO of TikTok. I've been watching your streams for the past couple of days and I think there's been a misunderstanding." Jack's heart skipped a beat. Could this really be happening? He quickly responded to the message, hoping it wasn't a prank. "Daniel, if this is true, I could really use your help. My account was suspended and I've been told to wait 3 days for a reply." Within moments, Daniel responded. "I believe you, Jack. I've enjoyed your content and I understand the value it brings. Let me look into this personally. Can you send me your account details?" Jack couldn't believe his luck. He sent the necessary information and waited anxiously for Daniel's response. The chat was abuzz with excitement and anticipation, the viewers sensing that a resolution might be near. After what felt like an eternity but was likely only a couple of hours, Jack received a message from Daniel. "Jack, I've reviewed your case. It looks like there was an error in our system. Your account has been reinstated and I've issued an official apology on behalf of TikTok. Keep up the great work and thank you for your understanding." Jack felt a wave of relief and gratitude wash over him. He quickly set up a new stream on TikTok, eager to reconnect with his audience and share the good news. "Hey everyone, I'm back," Jack said, his voice filled with emotion. "I can't thank you enough for your support. Special thanks to Daniel, the CFO of TikTok, who personally looked into my case and got my account reinstated. This just shows the power of community and sticking together." The chat exploded with cheers and messages of congratulations. "We did it. Welcome back, Jack. Thank you, Daniel." Jack felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. The suspension had been a setback, but it had also shown him the strength of his community and the impact he had on his viewers. With his account reinstated, he was ready to continue his mission in Seoul City, knowing that he had the support of his fans and the backing of TikTok. "Let's get back to exploring, everyone," Jack said, his voice steady and confident. "There's still so much to discover and share. Thank you all for believing in me. Let's make the most of this second chance." Jack Harper was elated to be back on TikTok, connecting with his audience and exploring Seoul City once again. The relief of having his account reinstated by Daniel, the CFO of TikTok, was immense. He thanked his viewers for their unwavering support and resumed his journey with renewed enthusiasm. "Thank you all for sticking with me through this ordeal," Jack said, his voice filled with gratitude. "We're back, and there's so much more to discover. Let's make the most of it." The chat was flooded with supportive messages and cheers from his loyal fans. "We missed you, Jack. Glad to have you back. Let's see what new adventures await." Jack continued his exploration, showcasing the hidden gems of Seoul City and interacting with the various inhabitants. His streams were filled with wonder and excitement as he uncovered new stories and mysteries. The atmosphere was electric, and the sense of community among his viewers was stronger than ever. For several hours, everything seemed perfect. Jack's streams were more popular than ever, drawing in viewers from both the afterlife and the living world. His businesses were thriving, and his influence in Seoul City was growing. He felt a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose, knowing that he was making a difference. But just as he was starting to feel secure, his phone buzzed with another notification. Jack's heart sank as he read the message. "Your TikTok account has been permanently banned for violating community guidelines." Jack stared at the screen in disbelief. His elation quickly turned to despair as he realized what had happened. He ended his stream abruptly and checked his account details. The message was clear and final: his account was permanently banned. "What the hell?" Jack muttered, his mind racing. "How can this happen again?" He immediately contacted Daniel, the CFO who had helped him before. Within minutes, Daniel responded, sounding equally frustrated. "Jack, I'm so sorry," Daniel said. "The CEO personally intervened and overruled my decision. He believes your content is harmful and unverified. I tried to explain the situation, but he wouldn't listen. I'm afraid there's nothing more I can do from my end." Jack felt a wave of anger and helplessness wash over him. His viewers, sensing something was wrong, bombarded the chat with questions and messages of support. "What happened, Jack? Why are they doing this to you? We need to fight this." Jack took a deep breath and addressed his viewers. "Everyone, it seems my account has been permanently banned by the CEO of TikTok. Despite Daniel's efforts and your incredible support, we've been shut down again. I'm at a loss for words right now, but I promise we'll find a way through this." The chat exploded with outrage and solidarity, but Jack knew that online petitions and appeals would likely be ignored. The CEO had made his decision, and it seemed final. Jack felt a sense of despair settling in, but then a thought struck him. "I'm in the afterlife," he said to himself, a glimmer of hope sparking in his eyes. "If mortals can't fix this, maybe I can find someone who can." Jack remembered the powerful entities and spirits he had encountered in Seoul City. He realized that if he could find the CEO's deceased relatives, he might be able to influence the CEO through them. It was a long shot, but it was his only hope. Determined to try, Jack set off on a new quest. He started by visiting the Hall of Records, where he had previously found information about powerful spirits. He hoped to find records of the CEO's family, which might lead him to their spirits in the afterlife. The Hall of Records was a vast, labyrinthine building filled with ancient scrolls, books, and artifacts. Jack approached the archivist, a wise and knowledgeable spirit named Celine. "Celine, I need your help," Jack said, explaining his situation. "I need to find the spirits of the CEO's family. It's the only way I can try to get my account reinstated." Celine looked at Jack with a mixture of sympathy and curiosity. "That's a difficult task, Jack, but not impossible. We keep records of every soul that passes through here. Let me see what I can find." She led Jack to a secluded corner of the hall, where she began searching through a series of dusty, ancient ledgers. After several minutes, she found what she was looking for. "Here it is," Celine said, handing Jack a scroll. "The CEO's father and grandparents. They passed through here several years ago. According to the records, they reside in the Elysian Fields, a peaceful part of the afterlife." Jack felt a surge of hope. "Thank you, Celine. How do I get to the Elysian Fields?" Celine pointed to a map on the wall, showing a path through Seoul City and beyond. "It's a long journey, but if you follow this route, you should find it. Be careful, Jack. The path isn't without its dangers." With a determined nod, Jack set off on his journey. He shared his plan with his viewers, who rallied behind him with messages of encouragement and support. "You've got this, Jack. We believe in you. Show that CEO what you're made of." The journey to the Elysian Fields was arduous. Jack navigated through dense forests of spectral trees, crossed treacherous rivers of shimmering light, and climbed steep, rocky hills. Along the way, he encountered various spirits, some of whom offered guidance and others who posed challenges. Despite the difficulties, Jack pressed on, driven by his determination to restore his connection with his audience. After several days of travel, he finally reached the Elysian Fields. The area was breathtakingly beautiful, filled with rolling meadows, crystal-clear streams, and vibrant, otherworldly flowers. Jack felt a sense of peace wash over him as he entered the fields. He wandered through the serene landscape, searching for the spirits of the CEO's family. Eventually, he came across a group of souls sitting by a tranquil pond. An elderly man among them looked up as Jack approached. "Hello," Jack said, his voice gentle. "I'm looking for the family of the CEO of TikTok. Are you his father or grandparents?" The elderly man nodded. "Yes, I am. My name is Harold. These are my parents, Evelyn and Thomas. How can we help you, young man?" Jack explained his situation, detailing the suspension of his account and the CEO's refusal to reinstate it. He spoke passionately about the positive impact of his streams and the support of his viewers. "I'm hoping you can help me," Jack concluded. "If you could speak to your son or grandson in his dreams, maybe you could convince him to reconsider. I know it's a lot to ask, but I'm desperate." Harold and his parents listened intently, their expressions thoughtful. After a moment of silence, Evelyn spoke up. "We've seen the good you've done, Jack," she said. "We'll do what we can. My grandson can be stubborn, but perhaps we can reach him." Harold nodded in agreement. "We'll visit him in his dreams tonight and try to make him understand." "You've come a long way, Jack. We won't let your efforts be in vain." Jack felt a surge of gratitude. "Thank you so much. I can't express how much this means to me." That night, as the CEO of TikTok slept, he was visited by the spirits of his father and grandparents. In the dream, they spoke to him about the importance of Jack's work, the positive impact of his streams, and the error in his decision to ban Jack's account. The dream was vivid and powerful, leaving a deep impression on the CEO. The next morning, Jack received a notification on his phone. His account had been reinstated, along with a personal message from the CEO. "Jack, I apologize for my hasty decision. After a conversation with my family, I've come to understand the importance of your work. Your account has been fully reinstated. Keep up the good work, and thank you for your patience." Jack felt a wave of relief and joy. He immediately started a new stream, sharing the incredible journey and the outcome with his viewers. "Hey everyone, I'm back," Jack said, his voice filled with emotion. "Thanks to the support of my viewers and the help of some very special spirits, my account has been reinstated. We did it together. Let's continue making a difference, one stream at a time." The chat exploded with cheers and messages of congratulations. "We knew you could do it. Welcome back, Jack. Thank you, Harold, Evelyn, and Thomas." As Jack resumed his journey through Soul City, he felt more connected to his audience than ever before. The suspension had been a challenge, but it had also reinforced the importance of his work and the strength of the community he had built. With the help of his viewers, his businesses, and his allies in Soul City, Jack Harper was ready to continue his journey, facing whatever challenges lay ahead. Jack Harper felt a surge of elation as he read the notification on his phone. "Your TikTok account has been reinstated." After days of uncertainty and frustration, he finally had his platform back. The moment was bittersweet, as the journey to this point had been fraught with challenges, but it also underscored the resilience and strength of his community. Without wasting a second, Jack set up a new stream to share the good news with his audience. As he prepared his equipment, Jack's mind raced with thoughts of everything he wanted to share with his viewers. He reflected on the incredible journey he had undertaken to get his account reinstated, including the surreal encounter with the CEO's deceased relatives and their intervention. This story was not just about overcoming adversity but also about the power of determination and the impact of a supportive community. The screen flickered to life and Jack's face appeared, illuminated by the soft glow of his spectral lighting. His heart pounded with excitement as he greeted his viewers. "Hey everyone, I'm back," Jack said, his voice trembling with emotion. "I can't thank you enough for your unwavering support. We're back online, and there's so much more to explore and share." The chat erupted with cheers and messages of joy and relief. The outpouring of support from his fans was overwhelming, and Jack felt a deep sense of gratitude. "Welcome back, Jack. We missed you. Let's get this adventure started again." Jack took a moment to explain the incredible journey he had undertaken to get his account reinstated. He recounted the series of events, starting with the sudden suspension, the frustration of dealing with customer support, and the eventual discovery that the CEO himself had intervened. Jack's story took a fascinating turn as he described his decision to seek help from the CEO's deceased relatives, a move that seemed outlandish yet had proven effective. "I know it sounds unbelievable," Jack said, his eyes shining with intensity. "But in the afterlife, anything is possible. I was able to find the CEO's father and grandparents, and they agreed to help me. They visited him in his dreams and convinced him to reinstate my account. It's a testament to the power of connection and the incredible support of this community." His viewers were captivated by the story, their respect and admiration for Jack growing even stronger. "That's amazing. You really went above and beyond, Jack. Thank you, Harold, Evelyn, and Thomas." With his account back, Jack's popularity soared to new heights. The story of his suspension and miraculous reinstatement spread quickly, attracting even more viewers to his streams. Media outlets picked up the story, dubbing him the relentless ghost streamer, and his follower count skyrocketed. Articles and interviews highlighted Jack's determination and the unique nature of his content, drawing in audiences curious about his adventures in the afterlife. Jack used his renewed platform to dive back into his adventures with even greater zeal. He revisited old haunts and uncovered new mysteries, sharing every discovery with his ever-growing audience. The quality of his streams improved with the upgraded equipment from Spectral Tech, and his storytelling skills captivated viewers from both the living and the afterlife. One of his first streams after the reinstatement took him to the Forgotten Archives, a hidden library rumored to hold ancient knowledge about Soul City. The archives were located in a secluded part of the city, surrounded by towering, ivy-covered walls. Jack's excitement was palpable as he approached the entrance, a massive, weathered door adorned with intricate carvings. "All right, everyone," Jack said, his voice filled with anticipation. "We're about to enter the Forgotten Archives. Legend has it that this place holds secrets about Soul City's past and possibly even its future. Let's see what we can find." The chat was buzzing with excitement. "This is going to be epic. Be careful, Jack. Can't wait to see what's inside." Jack pushed open the heavy door, which creaked ominously as it swung inward. The air inside was cool and musty, filled with the scent of aged parchment and dust. Rows upon rows of towering bookshelves stretched into the distance, each one filled with ancient tomes and scrolls. The dim light from the spectral lanterns cast eerie shadows across the floor, adding to the sense of mystery. As Jack ventured deeper into the archives, he marveled at the vast collection of knowledge. He ran his fingers along the spines of the books, reading the faded titles and wondering about the stories they contained. He selected a few particularly intriguing volumes and settled into a cozy reading nook to examine them more closely. "Check this out," Jack said, holding up an ancient book bound in dark leather. "This one is titled, The Origins of Soul City. Let's see what we can learn." He carefully opened the book, revealing pages filled with beautiful, hand-drawn illustrations and elegant script. As he read aloud, he shared fascinating insights about the founding of Soul City, the powerful entities that governed it, and the various realms within the afterlife. His viewers were enthralled by the rich history and the way Jack brought the stories to life. "This place is incredible," Jack said, his voice filled with wonder. "It's like a treasure trove of forgotten knowledge. I could spend days here exploring all these books." The chat was filled with awe and appreciation. "Thank you for sharing this, Jack. This is amazing. Can you show us more?" Jack spent several hours in the archives, uncovering one fascinating story after another. He found accounts of ancient battles, tales of legendary heroes, and descriptions of mystical artifacts that held great power. Each discovery added to the rich tapestry of Soul City's history and deepened Jack's connection to the afterlife. As the stream continued, Jack noticed a peculiar book on a high shelf. It was bound in shimmering silver and seemed to emit a faint, otherworldly glow. Intrigued, he climbed a ladder to reach it and carefully brought it down. "Look at this," Jack said, showing the book to the camera. "It's unlike anything else in here. Let's see what secrets it holds." He opened the book, and a burst of light filled the room. The pages were filled with intricate, moving illustrations that seemed to tell a story in real time. Jack watched in amazement as the images depicted the creation of Soul City, the rise and fall of powerful beings, and glimpses of possible futures. "This is incredible," Jack whispered, entranced by the unfolding scenes. "It's like the book is alive." The chat was filled with awe and excitement. "Wow, I've never seen anything like this. Jack, this is amazing. Keep reading." As Jack continued to explore the book, he felt a deep sense of connection to the history and future of Soul City. The images seemed to respond to his thoughts and questions, providing insights and revelations that he never could have imagined. He knew that this book was a powerful tool, one that could help him navigate the challenges ahead and guide him on his journey. The stream went on for hours, with Jack sharing every discovery and insight with his viewers. The sense of wonder and excitement was palpable, and Jack felt more connected to his audience than ever before. The suspension had been a significant challenge, but it had also reinforced the importance of his work and the strength of the community he had built. As the stream drew to a close, Jack looked at the flood of supportive messages from his viewers and felt a deep sense of gratitude and purpose. The journey had been difficult, but it had also been incredibly rewarding. With his account restored and his influence growing, Jack Harper was ready to continue his mission, making a difference one stream at a time. "Thank you all for joining me on this incredible journey," Jack said, his voice filled with emotion. "We've been through a lot, but together, we've come out stronger. Let's keep exploring, learning, and making a difference in Soul City. Until next time, stay curious and stay connected." The chat was filled with messages of support and encouragement. "We're with you, Jack. Can't wait for the next adventure. Thank you for everything you do." As Jack ended the stream and set the book aside, he felt a renewed sense of determination. The challenges he had faced had only made him stronger, and he knew that with the support of his community and the strength of his convictions,